Considering this as like officially a first movie, it's our first feature, but it was almost the thesis project of a self-imposed film school that we put ourselves through. So it was like, yeah, let's just see. And so we weren't going to be overly worried about throwing in a bunch of influences. We just wanted to get it all out of our system with this movie. So it's kind of like the comic book influences, monster movie influences. There's a lot of film geek stuff. There's probably like 15 Star Wars quotes in the movie if you can find them. And a whole Dario Argento red gel sequence. So there's a ton of stuff. So we just decided that we were just, there was the stuff that we kind of felt like we had to get out of our system. We were just going to go with it and go overboard. It's basically a guy wakes up. He has kind of an amnesia type situation. He's just killed a bunch of people and also has been subjected to some kind of crazy scientific experimentation where he has different body parts. They're not all his own. So it's basically his attempt to figure out what happened to him, and ultimately his goal is just to get back home to his small town and live a slacker lifestyle with his girlfriend and best friend and bowl and just hang out, but it doesn't really work out that way for him. We shot this movie in Oklahoma City, and I had an advertising and graphic design agency there for a few years, and that was going really well. And we would direct commercials or various projects, and we were working on short films at the same time, in our spare time. And it was just I just kind of hit a wall with advertising and just completely burned out and didn't want to pursue that anymore. So we kind of kept the clients going and made this movie, and then it was like, you know what? Let's just move and see what happens. So we moved here. It's where I've always wanted to move, and I've spent a lot of time here and love it. And did post-production here, and we'll definitely do our next movie here. Hopefully many movies. So.
Welcome everybody to the Dolby Theater for the premiere of Sex Machine, a movie about sex, death, and bowling. My name is Sheridan Marquardt, and I play Owen. It was a complete honor to be in this feature. I'd never done anything like this before. And when they approached me and asked me if I wanted to do it, and they told me it was going to take at least a year of volunteering, well, I figured, well, shit, that's easier than the Peace Corps, so I may as well do it. I don't know what to say other than this was a wonderful experience that I've got an entire new family that I've grown to love greatly, and we did it all for $8,014, and you really can't buy love at that price. So I don't know what to say other than that, but welcome to Sex Machine, and here you go.
I woke up in a room full of dead bodies with a warm gun in my hand. A guy was on his hands and knees begging for his life, like I was about to kill him. That's when I realized I was the one that killed everyone in that room, but I had no memory of it, no memory of anything. My mind was a blank slate. I didn't know where I was, how I got there, or what my name was. I had no identification, just the clothes on my back, a bottle of very potent painkillers, and a bag filled with almost $250,000 in cash. I checked into a motel and took off the bandages. I saw myself, what they'd done to me, and underneath, it was pretty fucked up. I holed up there for a few days, maybe weeks, loaded up on painkillers and alcohol. Slowly, I began to remember things. At first, it was hard to make sense of them. They were like dreams or flashbacks. Some of them were like something out of your worst nightmare. But gradually, I began to realize they were memories. Mine. And then, somehow, I remembered your name. And I remembered you. Bits and pieces at first, like puzzle pieces snapping together. It started to make sense. But then one of them found me. He was a big fucker with a monster face. There was no hesitation. He came after me hard, and I just knew he was going to kill me. But then I realized something. I knew how to fight too. And you know me, I'm not a fighter. Suddenly, I knew what I was doing, like instinct. And I knew that if I didn't kill him, I was a dead man. As I did it, it felt like second nature. And I knew my hands were stained with more blood than I could possibly imagine. That's when I knew I had to get back home. The only problem was I didn't know where that was. So I stole a car and drove like hell. Every day a new piece of the puzzle would snap into place and I could sense I was getting closer, but they were still following me. Eventually I realized that they were using the money to track me. Every time I used it, they would show up within 48 hours. I killed 2 more of them in Portland and 3 in Houston, I think. But I don't feel bad about them. They're monsters. They were like me. Finally, I made it here. I did a little more research, trying to make sense of this whole thing. I found my death certificate. I even went to my grave. That was the toughest part to deal with. I checked into this hotel room and I've been here for 3 months, waiting to see if they'd come after me here. I was afraid to contact you. I didn't really know where else to go or who else I could talk to about this. I couldn't stay away any longer. I tried to think of someone to explain all this in a way that was less shocking. I don't know why I broke in, but once I was here, I don't know. Something came over me. That's definitely not how I meant things to go down.
So we're going to do a quick Q&A because Rahab demanded it, so we have to please as much as we can. This is Erica, Leather Girl. This is Owen, who you've already met. Jessica and Leah, co-producer, production designer, t-shirt designer, all that. It was mainly $8,000 worth of Taco Bell and a dolly rental. So it's basically if we had money the weekend we were about to shoot, it was like, oh, do we have enough money to get a dolly or lights? And then we did. Yeah, it's all digital. It's all stuff that you could go to Best Buy and buy, and it's all like edited on an iMac and Final Cut Pro. So like the only people that were gonna get paid were like these makeup guys, super horror fan makeup guys, and the problem is they kind of freaked all the girls out, which reduced the amount of nudity that we could get into the movie. And they were just like so annoying. And then they ended up disappearing one weekend, and they're like, oh, we didn't know we were shooting. But it turns out they were really at like some Fangoria convention. This movie's just designed to be one of those movies like Dino Croc or Boa versus Python. You know, when you go into a Blockbuster and you know you're just gonna rent one of the crappy movies and hope that it's good, but it turns out sucking. So we were just gonna make this, and hopefully it didn't really suck that much. I don't know, we'll see. We kind of have a few things planned, but I don't really want to. That's why we have to be careful, like not to call this the premiere, just to call it a screening and stuff like that. But it'll end up on DVD in some form or another. But we're just trying to make the right deal so that we can make another movie with actual money. So that's why we don't know right now. Anything else? Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We do want to get a distributor. You know, it's not even like a money thing really. It's just like, you know, if you tell people about movies and it's something that they can see at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or whatever, it's cool. It's just somewhat legitimate, you know, for, you know, regular people we're telling about it and people that we're trying to talk to as potential investors. So yeah, I want to get it out like that, but I really want to do some internet stuff with this, and I would love to podcast the movie in like little episodes and just kind of try to build up some grassroots. I mean, we wouldn't charge for it, just put it out there and see what kind of grassroots support we could build for it. And, you know, for me, it's all about, you know, just really just getting it out there more than anything else. So I think that would be cool. I just don't know if the distributors that I'm talking to are cool with it. We'll see.
Where would I like to see it go? Oh man, into my DVD player at every party I attend. But this is the second screening that we've done, one in Oklahoma City where the film was shot, and then one here in Austin where they're based out of. Nothing has been bad. I couldn't have asked for a better experience. And everything we do just adds to that experience.
I live in Los Angeles right now. I flew out to see this, and I'm using this film to hopefully kind of catapult to another, you know, indie film and go on from there, because that's my ultimate goal, is to be an actress. So hopefully things will come from it.
It was just way harder than I had planned on it being, and I would do a lot of things different as far as just being way less ambitious. I'm happy with it, and I've got a really good response to it, and I think people realize that what we pulled off for the amount of money is pretty cool. But always for me, you know, it's like, it's a great experience, and it's almost like I'm seeing it more as the experience than I am as a finished movie. But the one drawback is the original script was quite a bit cooler. So that's it.